And this was not the only move that we made. This wasn't the only move. And Will, I gotta say, when we franchise tagged him, you and I had a discussion like, okay, is this going to be the one move we make? Are we going to potentially even, sign him? Which I was surprised too, to be honest with you. I'm very happy that it happened, but I didn't see this thing happening the week after we franchise tagged him.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but we for sure thought that was it. Let's re-sign all the guys we have. And we didn't, I mean, with this new owner, potentially coming in and everything around that, it just wasn't in the cards in our opinion that we were going to not only sign him, but also sign other guys. And we made some moves. We had issues with the O-line. So we get Nick Gates, a center from the Giants. We get Wiley, who's worked well with Eric,
the enemy.
With the Chiefs. Sorry, it's on the tip of my tongue. Yeah. Those are two solid moves. And now we also thought Norwell and Trey Turner were pretty decent, and that didn't pan out. So I will definitely temper my expectations, but still, I mean, that's a position that we need. O-line, we got somebody in Nick Gates that is a center, but he's bigger. He can play guard. He can play tackle. He's that swing tackle, somebody that we needed. And then you got Wiley. And the thing about Wiley that I really like is the familiarity with Eric Bieniemy. You know what I mean? We've seen everything that Ron Rivera does, where he gets his Panthers and guys that he knows. Now Bieniemy's in here, and that's what it's looking like he's doing. He had talks with Chad Henne. He got Wiley over here. I like that because they know how he coaches, they know how he calls plays, and it's going to benefit us. So these are two good moves, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on just these two alone?
Yeah. So I was surprised at the timing of the moves, but I wasn't surprised at what we were doing. This is very similar to last year, where we said we weren't going to break the bank early on. We were going to sign some reasonable contracts, and they said that leading up to it, that they were going to do fair market deals. I just didn't think we would be signing them on Monday by like 3:00 in the afternoon announcing this stuff.
Right.
Because like Andrew Norwell took some time, Trey Turner took some time, that the bigger signings generally come out, the earliest, but we were all in on it. It's just like you said, this kind of is in that same mode of we're not signing the most expensive guys, but hopefully we're signing guys that there's some position flexibility that they like and that can fit with the system. I think the one I'm most excited about is Andrew Wiley because of the fact that he's coming from Kansas City. He's coming from the system that Bieniemy knows. But more importantly, Bieniemy knows him. And he knows what he can and can't do at tackle.
Yep.
And be able to what plays does he excel on? What plays does he struggle on? So he'll know, if we're going to be running a certain play, if I need to have that tackle or the tight end over to help chip, or if I need to have quick throws because of certain pass rushers, because, Wiley struggled against the likes of Von Miller and stuff, but Bieniemy found ways to get around it. And so that's important. Your players. Nick Gates was a little bit of a surprise to me because he was coming off an injury. He didn't play that much last year. He's the guy who had the really bad broken leg against us with the Giants in the Taylor Heineke first start of 2021 season. And so he's been working his way back there. And it's kind of funny when they showed some highlights, one of the guys I follow, they were showing Jonathan Allen just torching him up in New York. So I'm like, well, this isn't good. We're showing guys, guys on our team. But they said he's going to be a center. And so, the biggest problem we've had at center is stability. And he's got a little bit of an injury history. So I'm a little bit concerned about that, but it looks like we're going to be able to get cheaper at center. So I thought that was a good start. Overall, like you said, 2 new offensive linemen starting, sliding Sam Cosmi now over to guard.
Yep.
So we've got one hole to fill on the offensive line, whether that's be through free agency or the draft. Now we've got a little bit more of the line solidified to know that on paper it's going to be better going into next season.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And then look, I'm going to use one of your favorite phrases over the years, position flex. You know what I mean? That's what I like about Gates is that he can go from center to guard to tackle. You know what I mean? And he can go with each of these positions. He has a size and, kind of the arm length to kind of deal with some of these defenders. But like you said, Now we got, Cosme's going to be at a guard. We got Wiley at tackle. I mean, this was really kind of setting up for something nice. Now, there was something that I was a little nervous about, because one of the things that I heard, and I know you listened to John Kine when he interviewed Logan Paulson. One of the things that when you mentioned how the enemy really works the offense, to maximize how his good points and minimize, his errors by putting the tight end or somebody to help with that. They also ran a lot of RPO. They ran a lot of the quick screen game, stuff like that, which Kansas City was like the best in for the last couple of years. I mean, back to Andy Reid's days in Philly, they were great in the screen game. The opposite side, Washington was one of the worst in screen game. You know what I mean? So, I mean, obviously this is great to have Bieniemy over here, and you hope that we can transition for something like that. But it does make you wonder, like, oh, is this going to happen overnight, or are we going to have to deal with some serious issues over time? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, it certainly seems like, just like last year, the goal was to get a little bit more athletic along the line. And that just did not pan out. Those guys were just too old and too broken down. So it does seem like, Wiley's got a little bit more athleticism to get out there. Same with Gates. So they can work on some of those, like you just said, the RPOs, the screens, the wide receiver screen, just some of that smaller stuff to take the pressure off of a young quarterback and put him in high percentage situations, which can only help him.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. So you pair this with some of the other guys, some of the older guys we had. Larson, as we know, we re-signed him. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But then you have the ability to kind of move these guys around. We know Cosme, like we mentioned earlier, is going to be at guard, which is, I think, a great spot for him. Then you have the Wiley right next to him. So I'm excited about the prospects of this. Obviously, like I said, we're going to temper our expectations because we had this situation a year ago and it did not pan out. But, hey, notably different, like you said, a lot of what helps with the screen game is having those agile guards and tackles and like that. So hopefully this is what we have in store. Moving along down the list, and another position that there was dire need for, middle linebacker. Now, we'll discuss why I'm sad about this, but I'm excited about this guy. I'm excited. Cody Barton out of Seattle. We signed him just for a year, right? It wasn't
I think so. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it wasn't anything major, which I really like. This guy played behind Bobby Wagner, okay? He's got a lot of ability. The scouts were just ranting and raving about his ability and what he can do. He's a converted safety, smart, great football IQ. I'm excited to kind of see what he brings to the table, more so because there's not a lot of tread on those. There's not a lot of wear on those tires. He has been behind one of the great middle linebackers of our time, for sure, in Bobby Wagner. So I'm really kind of hyped to see what he can bring to the table. And because he one of the things I like, he's what I've heard, very instinctive, especially when you're going downhill, when he's running downhill. Not the best in coverage and dealing with the pass and whatnot, but as far as knowing what's going on, he's dialed in. And that's one of the things we always said was, with Holcomb or Mayo, we need somebody that's in the middle that's calling the plays so that we can have, Jamin Davis roaming free and kind of getting to the edge a lot more. So honestly, if sticking him in the position my buddy used to play for, who is no longer with us, we'll discuss that in a little bit. I like this. I like this because I really feel like with his leadership, you have the pedigree of playing behind a Bobby Wagner, so he's picked up a little bits and pieces there. This could be a pick that a lot of people aren't talking about, but I think this could be one of those moves where we're like, oh, okay, well, we're week 4, week 5. We're like, oh, wow, here we go. He plays the part. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's you were alluding to it right there, is I think this is an under the radar signing. I love the fact, like you said, he's a converted safety. So the ability to run is going to be out there. So often what they're finding with some of these middle linebackers, while it's becoming a dinosaur position, is can they be a 3-down linebacker? Or the fact that, look at Washington, and we ran a 4-3 defense. I think they said 4 snaps overall in 2022.
Right.
4 snaps and 4-3. So you've got to be able to be more active and be able to play both the pass and run, or just be athletic and be able to run and fill. And this guy can. And I think it is going to, just like you said, he's going to come in and be the Mike. He's going to be able to give Jamin the opportunity to read and react and run. And that's what Jamin's let him use his athleticism. So I like it. I like the fact that we've added some pieces there. You and I both were so concerned about linebacker last year that we didn't address it. And we've started to address it now. So I think that's great. I like this pickup, even though if I don't know much about the guy, I like the idea behind it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Look, he's 6'2", 240, got that nice size, decently athletic. He's rangy, as far as he can get out. I'm kind of hyped about this because this is the first time I really feel like we're making a move to where this could help us. And see, it makes me feel even better about it because of the fact that we have Daron Payne we have Jonathan Allen and now Daron Payne signed, because watching the videos and everything, and even Logan Paulson and John Keimer talking about it, and watching the videos for Seattle, that middle of that D line wasn't really helping him out. Wasn't doing him any favors because they were allowing the O-line get to the second level, and weren't really allowing him to see everything as clearly. Having that force that we have with the two of them in front of him, I mean, they'll clear that out. You know what I mean? And I really, if letting him roam, I think that's going to be even more beneficial for him and for us. So I think that's a great move. And then on top of that, we go to Minnesota and pick up Cam Dantzler. I've heard the name. I've watched him from time to time. This past year wasn't as great, but I don't know if this is the same Dantzler, but if I'm not mistaken, this is somebody that I wanted way back out of college. What do you know about this guy?
He came from Mississippi State.
Okay.
He was he was a teammate of Montez Sweat's.
Okay.
Back in 2019. Yeah, so this is a luxury signing because he can come in and be your number 3, number 4 corner, and he's got a bunch of starts under his belt. I think, up to 16, 17 starts in the last 3 years. He played against us in the game that we, when Minnesota came here, and he got a lot of playing time. I think we targeted him a little bit, but it's more about the fact that we've got experience depth, and we were really concerned about corners last year. The fact that we're writing out Rashad Wild Goose and all the other folks that we were running out there with not a lot of experience was a big concern for us. And so this is a luxury signing. It's not anything that I'm super, super excited about.
Right.
And I hope, in a perfect world, he's not seeing the field a whole lot. I don't think this is going to prevent us from drafting a corner fairly high, because you still got to remember the fact that St. Juice has not been healthy through 2 seasons, and right. Kendall Fuller's in the last year of his deal. So who knows what's going to happen to him next year. So I still want to target a corner high, but this is good depth along with, some of the re-signings we made. It's just add more pieces, add more opportunities. Let these guys duke it out in training camp and figure out who makes the 53.
Exactly. But I'm not going to lie. The very first thought I had was the last secondary player, corner position that we picked up was William Jackson III. That just didn't pan out. So,
yeah.
Hey, we're hoping for the best. But like you said, it's a luxury position. Hey, hopefully he can pan out. But we'll see. Again, we got him early. He'll get to know the players, get to know the coaches, and let's get this thing. I like that for us. We're getting everybody early. Mind you, it's the 15th of March. Normally, we're one of those teams that will wait till right around the draft, or even like we said last year, Ron Rivera said that free agent signing didn't start until after the draft.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, wait, what? Did you still feel that way, Ron? I guess when your job is on the line, you don't feel that way. All right. So, hey, they're doing things kind of uncharacteristic as far as we're not picking up random superstars, or aging superstars.
And overpaying for them.
Yeah. And we're not waiting to the last minute. Now we're kind of getting all of our guys in house, and as you know, the longer you have everybody in house, the more guys you can figure out, is this going to work? Is this not going to work? So by the time training camp and OTAs and preseason gets here, we're not sitting here trying to figure out, okay, is this my 53, or do we need to pull it out of 53 and then cut 3 or 4 guys and then sign 2 more? You know what I mean? Like, we kind of know where we're going. So I like that. And one more move that allows us to know that we are starting the great Sam Howell, and we gave him a backup. And I'm glad we got this guy. Okay, Jacoby Brissett, who most recently played with Cleveland and was the stopgap for Deshaun Watson. Which, if you ask me, I would have kept Jacoby Brissett in the game, because he actually seemed like he had it together with those guys. He signed in Washington, and I could not be more ecstatic about this. You get veteran leadership, you get a great locker room guy, you get somebody that's been around multiple teams, yes, but each team that he's been around, he's had some semblance of success. He has been able to do, good over decent in Cleveland. He was with the Patriots. He was with the Colts after Andrew Luck and all that stuff. He's been able to do decent with them. Each place he's been, he might not have succeeded at the end of the day, but he didn't make them look bad. It's almost like a little bit better of a Taylor Heineke, a more polished, more professional Taylor Heineke. So I love this, and this to me says we're sticking with you, Sam Howell. But we do want somebody in here that's going to work with you and help you. And if it's taking longer for you to get it, we can put this guy in here. He knows the ropes. He can get us going until you're ready, if that ever comes. So, what do you think about us getting Jacoby Brissett, man?
I think you said it very, very well. And this year's quarterback market was a lot more normal versus last year. There was all these numbers being thrown around, and Mitch Trubisky's getting $12 million a year, and that was kind of a surprise to people. And Mariota's getting $8 million a year and stuff, or more. So you said it perfectly. I mean, he is a journeyman backup. He bounces from teams to teams, and this is what he does. But he's capable for a couple games of keeping things afloat if he needs to. He's capable if our essential rookie quarterback is not ready week 1. He could be. He has the chance to push the rookie quarterback a little bit in training camp, and he also has a chance to mentor him, and he knows what he's getting into. And so he knows if he doesn't get the starting job, he's not going to be surprised by it and boohoo on the sidelines. He's going to be there to help the rookie get ready and get, be set to go and mentor him. And so it is a really, really good signing. I saw something where they compared some of his numbers to Heineke and Brissett's, and they were very, very similar. Yeah. But you and I know Taylor Heineke is like 3 or 4 throws a game that really could have been picked off that somehow don't get picked off. So he's got the ability to have those numbers worse. They did sign him for a little bit more than I anticipated. I didn't think they wanted to go as high as up to $8 million a year, but like you said, he fits the exact mold of what they were kind of looking for, a veteran who understands what is happening here, but what his opportunity could be. So I'm with you. I think it was a really, really, really good pickup.
I love it. And I understand it came at the casualty of your Will's favorite quarterback, Mr. Taylor Heineke. And I will address this real quick because, Kyle, you're wrong. He didn't go to a better team, but I will gladly give you those 1 or 2 interceptions a game, my friend. Okay, because he will be coming in there at one point for Ritter. I'm gonna tell you that right now, and you will see. Y'all are gonna love him for half the year, and then the other half the year, you're like, why is he starter? Bless you. Oh, but you got my man sick. Taylor leaving has got my man sick. He can't even handle it.
I've been pretty devastated for the last day and a half. I'm not gonna lie.
Will, let's go ahead and get into it. Look, is there anybody else? I know in the next couple of weeks, we're going to look at kind of where everything stands after the dust has settled. We know what's been going on in the NFC East. Giants, locking up Daniel Jones, Zeke leaving, but Gilmore coming to Dallas. And then the Eagles, I mean, geez Louise, Hardgrave, Miles Sanders, Darius Slay, just a bunch of guys, Kazir White, all these guys leaving and going elsewhere for the Eagles. Are we surprised?
I'm a little nervous that we need to keep doing some things. I'm not so sure we're keeping up with the Joneses right now, is what I'd say. You know, if some of these teams, you know, the Giants getting Darren Waller, if he stays healthy, that's going to be a weapon. You know, so it's like we got some work to do. Like, if Cam Dancer's our last DB signing, that's a problem.
Right. So yeah, we definitely gonna have to see what they're doing. And we're gonna bring that to you in the next couple of weeks, just kind of see where, like I said, where all the dust is settled.
Thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.